The disappearance of Emanuela Orlandi in 1983 is one of Italy's most enduring and perplexing mysteries, an extraordinary true crime case that has captivated the public for decades and drawn the Vatican itself into the shadow of suspicion. At the heart of the case is a 15-year-old girl, the daughter of a Vatican employee, who vanished without a trace in Rome, setting off a chain of theories that range from kidnapping and sexual exploitation to international espionage and clerical corruption. More than 40 years later, the question remains: what happened to Emanuela Orlandi? Emanuela Orlandi was the fifth of 5 children in a devout Catholic family that lived within the walls of Vatican City, a rarity for lay people. Her father, Ercole Orlandi, worked for the Vatican's prefecture of the papal household. On June 22, 1983, Emanuela left her music class at the Pontifical Institute of Sacred Music in central Rome and never came home. She had called her sister earlier that day, saying a man in a green BMW had offered her a job distributing Avon products. This detail would later become a key component in several theories about her disappearance. Witnesses reported seeing her speaking with the man after class, but no reliable sightings followed. The case initially seemed like a possible runaway situation, but the Orlandi family quickly dismissed that idea. Emanuela had been a responsible and deeply connected family member. Within days, it was clear something far more serious had occurred. The Vatican's involvement in the early stages of the investigation raised eyebrows. Though the disappearance occurred in Rome, not on Vatican grounds, the Holy See showed an unusual level of control over the case. The Vatican's refusal to open its archives, conduct internal interviews, or cooperate fully with Italian authorities would be cited for decades as evidence of a potential cover-up. Soon after Emanuela's disappearance, strange phone calls began to reach the Orlandi family. A man who identified himself as Mario claimed Emanuela was being held hostage in exchange for the release of Mehmet Ali Ağca, the Turkish man who had attempted to assassinate Pope John Paul II in 1981. The supposed kidnappers demanded Ağca's release in return for Emanuela's safe return. While this theory gained traction for a time, including a public appeal by Pope John Paul II asking for Emanuela's release, it would eventually be discredited. Ağca himself repeatedly changed his story, casting doubt on his credibility. One of the earliest theories linked Emanuela's disappearance to the Grey Wolves, a Turkish ultra-nationalist group associated with Ağca. Some believed the kidnapping was politically motivated, orchestrated to leverage the Vatican into securing Ağca's release. However, no hard evidence has ever substantiated this connection. In 2012, Italian journalist Emiliano Fittipaldi published explosive documents suggesting that high-ranking Vatican officials may have been involved in Emanuela's disappearance as part of a clerical sex abuse scandal. According to this theory, Emanuela may have been exploited and then silenced to protect the Church's reputation. A leaked Vatican document appeared to show Church officials had kept Emanuela hidden for years and had paid for her expenses, but the document's authenticity was disputed. Another theory implicates the Banda della Magliana, a notorious Roman crime syndicate. In 2005, an anonymous caller to a television program claimed that Enrico De Pettis, a deceased gang leader, had been involved in Emanuela's disappearance and that her body was buried in his tomb. This led to the exhumation of De Pettis's crypt in the Basilica of Sant'Apollinare in 2012, but no human remains or definitive links to Emanuela were found. De Pettis's girlfriend later told police that Emanuela had indeed been kidnapped and held for several weeks before being killed, allegedly as a message to the Vatican over unpaid debts to the criminal underworld. Some investigators and journalists believe the answer lies much closer to home, inside the Vatican itself. As the daughter of a Vatican employee and a citizen of the city-state, Emanuela had a unique status. Some suspect she may have uncovered or become involved in something that led to her being silenced, or that she was abducted by someone from within the tightly controlled walls of the Vatican. In recent years, renewed public and legal interest has kept the case alive. In 2019, the Orlandi family received a tip that Emanuela's remains might be found in the Teutonic Cemetery, a burial site inside Vatican City. The Vatican agreed to open 2 tombs, but both were found to be empty. That same year, the Vatican finally opened its own internal investigation, something the family had long requested. However, critics claimed the move was largely symbolic and lacked transparency. He has accused the Church of hiding information and obstructing justice. His belief that Vatican officials know more than they are admitting is shared by many in Italy, where the case has become symbolic of broader issues regarding institutional secrecy and accountability.